her unique voice, longing for freedom and love, coming back to the roots and connection to nature. Welcome to Light and Shadow. Greetings, Jojolapa, Namaste. I am your host, Babita Shrestha. Best wishes to all near and far for the holiday season. Today we have with us Urana, born in Mongolia, a poet, certified meditation teacher and practitioner of shamanic healing, sound healing and Reiki, a devotional practice of bhakti yoga and Sanskrit chanting as well. Urana dedicated to offering her meditation and sound healing techniques. She recently published her book of poetry, Golden Threads. Along with her album, Your Heart is Calling, was released this year in July, and the second album, Seeds of the Stars, is out this month. Her unique voice, longing for freedom and love, coming back to its roots and connection to nature. Welcome to Light and Shadow. Greetings, Jojolapa, Namaste. I am your host, Babita Shrestha. Best wishes to all for the holiday seasons near and far. Today we have with us Urana, a Mongolian-born poet, certified meditation teacher and practitioner of shamanic healing and sound healing and Reiki, a devotional practice to bhakti yoga and Sanskrit chanting as well. Urana, dedicated to offering her meditation and sound healing techniques, she recently published her book of poetry, The Golden Threads. Along with her first album, Your Heart is Calling, was released in July this year. Urana is releasing her second album, Seed of the Stars, this month. Joining Urana is Eric, who is an entrepreneur, music producer, and performing artist based in Washington, D.C. Eric often performs drums and percussion in various contexts, including sacred ceremonies and movement meditations. We would like to hear more from Urana and Eric, so please join me in welcoming them to Light and Shadow. Urana, Eric, welcome to Light and Shadow, and we are so happy to have you on our show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Babita. Namaste, everyone. It's our pleasure to be here. My name is Urana, and I am originally from Mongolia. And as you've heard Babita's introduction, I've been doing a lot of healing offerings that integrates different parts of me that I have learned over the years. I've been collaborating with Eric in production of some music, and we do jointly sound healing and meditation work together to bring healing into the world, particularly in corporate environment where we are very, very mind oriented and always being told to be, think better, do better, be better. And that takes us away from our hearts and away from our connection to the nature and the divine. So our goal and intention is to really bring some different modalities of alchemized medicine to bring healing, so that the wholeness of us can be really alive and present.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Babita.
Happy to have you.
Yeah. I totally resonate with that. I started Life Music Group because there's an emerging culture happening around the world that honors, it's like an ancient revival that honors indigenous traditions and peoples, and also is a fruit of a lot of the pain that people all over the world have endured, especially with regard to social justice issues, like what we're seeing here in the United States. Yeah. So out of all of that, there's light that's emerging, and there are people who are starting to really get tapped into that. And some of the fruits are music, different plants that people are working with, like cacao and a general sense of living consciously, living in the heart. The intention of Life Music Group is to support that emerging culture and to reach more people so that people can start resonating with the frequencies that we're putting out into the world.
It's amazing. I am totally all ears and eyes to hear more about both your work. Sound Journey of Healing. Can you tell us about this and even play a piece for us?
Yeah, so sound, I think Eric also referred to that, and you also referred to that this is a vibrational medicine. Sound, not only that we see or hear, we really feel it in our body, and really sound is everywhere, right? There is a teaching by this Japanese master who've actually found that there is a vibration in just even stillness itself, right? And just by linking something here, a lot of micro movements happening in all the different dimensions. So what I've through my own personal healing journey, and also once I stepped into offering my healing work into the world, sound medicine really emerged as a sacred vehicle to integrate different healing methods that I've been training and apprenticing with. And we feel it in our body, in our soul, and it really, the planetary web of life that we're connected to, it resonates and brings us into wonderful. And then I do want to maybe call in one just to see the vibration. So this is an example on through vibration of the sound balls, calling in the light, and it's the light, divine light that can be accessed through Reiki channeling or just devotional practices, or when you are praying. In this, the sound balls really vibrate and touch the divine, so that it can awaken within us.
I could feel it.
Yeah.
Yes, the vibration. Can you share about the bowls, the various bowls you have here displayed? What does it?
You take this one.
What does it tell us?
So singing bowl has been a traditional sound medicine for many cultures. You're from Nepal. Working with the metal bowls that are singing bowls that has been for centuries a traditional healing medicine, and in Mongolia a lot of the healers and shamans work with drums and then bells and rattles, different instruments. In these crystal balls that I work with are actually a little bit new alchemized medicine of the new world. They're made mostly from quartz crystals, which is a pure transmitter, right? But they are alchemized with different precious metals and crystals in them, and it creates this connection to calling in energetic support or the planetary and star consciousness that crystal or metal supports. So each ball has a different tone and resonates with different chakras. And not only beyond that, it carries a different crystalline consciousness. So in my own experience, when I'm connecting with the balls, different chants will come or different lyrics of the poetic expression will come. And when I'm doing healing on clients, it really, even their own spirit guides or elementals that want to support them start flowing through them. So it's a really beautiful instrument. It is rather new, created in the US, but really alchemizing the singing bowl tradition with the crystal healing. So it's an alchemized medicine.
Amazing, amazing. Eric, you want to add to this? Anything?
Well, as Urana mentioned, the universe boils down to energy and vibration. So everything is vibration. Our bodies are also energy and vibration. And on top of that, we're mostly water. So we can resonate. We're crystalline in nature. So these bowls, when the frequency comes out, when the energy comes out, we resonate with the bowls. So we can actually use these bowls to navigate different frequencies. And it opens portals into basically other dimensions for our consciousness to go and feel and heal parts of ourselves through the metals and the crystals, especially with the help of a guide like Urana, who can then guide us through and channel the vibration of these bowls so that we can really receive a lot from them.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah.
So it's like navigating to inner peace.
Yeah, so based on my feedback from the clients that I have been working with or in group sound healing sessions that we offer, a lot of the feedback is that it's really embodied. People feel it in their body, and it can really, each bowl really gives the receiver what it needs. Where sometimes people really feel it in their heart, sometimes it activates the fingers, and sometimes it really goes to the crown chakra and help you connect. So and I really get an intuitive guidance, basically become channel for the light and the divine love energy to flow and fully surrender. So these balls work like transmission channel, and it really depends on who is receiving the healing and how they're individually resonating with the crystalline consciousness that is getting transmitted through the balls.
Wow, wow, it's really amazing. I'm sitting here and feeling it already, the energy, and I'm getting lost in transition right now. But amazing. Urana, going back to, first of all, thank you for this book, Golden Threads. It has a lot of beautiful poetries, and I picked up a few lines, and I'm going to read it. Divine love is everywhere. Divine love is in all of us. Every branch of an old tree, every grass in an open field, every cry of a newborn child, every drop of a summer rain. It's uplifting words. Can you enlighten us about this?
Yeah, a lot of my poetry, right, and then also a lot of the songs that I sing are direct messages from either Mother Nature or wind or the rain or the divine. It is really a healing messages that came to me or through me for someone else who's on a similar journey. And this particular poem is also a song, and I would like to offer that. what makes us all. Divine love is in us all. Fluttering over birds' wing, wrinkles on her grandma's face, golden shine of a spider's web, red eclipse in the night sky. Divine love is in everything. This is what makes us all. Divine love is within us all. So this song was gift from walking in a forest, right? And I had a particular way of looking at things, also feeling like I'm not loved enough or I don't belong enough. And through many healing journeys and many medicine work, one day I was walking in at the forest, and it literally, the Mother Earth or the divine love started talking to me, and then this song came, and it was just pointing out that I am in everything that you see, in everyone you meet. And then the phrase of the song or the poem changes every time. The line you read earlier is different than the one that just came now. So that's how usually this songs and the poetry works.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's I'm speechless. So Eric, you've shared about your life music group. Can you talk about other projects that you're working on?
Yeah. Well, so we really want to take this work that we're doing and bring it into the corporate world. So business leaders and policy leaders. We're entering into a new age, the age of Aquarius. We're moving from a patriarchal society into a partnership society. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen in order for us to tap into the abundance that's coming. And some of that is through our own personal healing with the bowls and the practices. And some of that, frankly, is a change in strategy. It's a change in how we do business and how we create value. So to support leaders through that, I started a company called the Merkaba Group. So Merkaba Group takes the work that we're doing here with the sound healing and the practices and brings it into a corporate context that also supports leaders through executive coaching and through strategy retreats and new frameworks for thinking about how to best serve our customers, how to solve the problems that we have as corporations, as governments, from a place that actually blends mysticism and science together, from a place that makes it so that magic is actually real. We can actually transform things in an instant by transforming ourselves from within and by looking at the world as from a new lens that opens up new possibilities.
Wow. And what has the reaction been to this work you're sharing with them?
It's incredible. I mean, some of the leaders I've worked with, they come with a specific challenge, and within a couple of sessions, it's like they've transcended the challenge altogether, and the fruit of that effort, the reward of that process is that they've changed a part of their company and the practices in the company in a way that brings a lot of abundance that they didn't even expect. So the internal shifts that they have in wanting to deal with a difficult relationship or something like that ends up restructuring a department, for example, in a way that makes them more competitive or that allows them to create more value for their customers.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful offering. Is because, you know, often we very spiritual beings, especially if we have very strong spiritual practice, you know, we can do our work really well, but then we also live in a society where majority of the people are still very mind oriented under a lot of pressure, right? Especially in the leadership. So we have a word in Mongolian says It basically means mend yourself, and then mend your house, then mend your state. So we've did a lot of time working, mending ourselves, healing our wounds, and now we're moving into mending the house, so the community and the environment we're in, and then with the hope that we can actually mend the state of the bigger, our country, or even our relationship with the Mother Nature. And both of us have, you know, background in working in the corporate world, and I'm still in the, you know, work that I'm in the corporate world. So what we really observe is that the change in personal healing that can happen in the leaders resonate throughout the organization, and then from the grassroots it can also resonate up. So
Amazing. Yeah, it's really a real nice path to follow and absorb in our daily lives, because we are so lost with what we do every day. We forget to heal ourselves, you know, internally, so we can share the joy externally. That's what I think it is. Wash away my pain, Urana. A line from your poetry. What made you put this into black and white?
Yeah, so this is a story of my connection with elemental spirit of water. I was born in Mongolia. It's a landlocked country, and there's not much water. Haven't seen an ocean until I was an adult, you know, and never learned how to swim. And I was always terrified of water. And one time I went on this powerful retreat where I was actually doing deep dive work on learning how to heal past life experiences, because, you know, our souls get reincarnated. I mean, this is my personal belief. Everyone has a different take on it, but and I was studying how to really heal my past life wounds, so that this incarnation my soul can really share its gifts. And then the land there, or the river, that land where I was in, asked me, like, come on in. I get in this water, and I was like, it's cold. It was late October, and I was, you know, it was really cold. The water was very cold, and I can't swim. And I was like, oh no, can't do it. But once I took the courage to actually go in there, I had this profound experience where all of my pain was getting washed away by this water, and then the gates of my heart were opening. So if I may, I can just do one line from that song. Gently flowing river, wash away my pain. Open the gates to my own heart, so that I can finally go home. Oh, river find the home. Yeah, and after I did jump into the cold water and let it wash over me, gate of my heart opened, and then there was this light shining in there and vibrating that really vibrationally felt like the chimes.
Yeah.
And that's where I first time in my life really felt like I'm actually home, and the home is in my own heart.
Amazing. Amazing story. I myself come from a landlocked country. I never saw a beach till I had to go to India and then came to US. You know? So I can echo your story with what you're saying. Urana, once bitten and survived, you turned this into medicine. These are the words you have written about a dream you had. What is the story behind this?
Yeah, this is an opening poem in my Golden Threads book. It's called The Encounter with the Snake. I'm not going to read the whole poem here, but so I kept having a repeated dream of getting bitten by a big snakes. And then one particular one that I remember is huge snake came and bite me in my arm, and I'm getting terrified, and then it's looking like it's rotten, you know, like a very scary, and I'm looking everywhere, running around everywhere trying to find help to heal it. And I was going through a jungle, and I go into an, you know, nomadic gear looking house, and then go into a concrete building, traveling between different times in space. And then by the time I arrived in this very mysterious looking hut in the middle of a forest, I entered there, and then my hand was completely healed. And then in my own personal experience, I had a lot of relationships, or, you know, difficult bosses or difficult personal relationship that felt like that snake bite, and that really like I need help, where can I get support, the healing, but after I've gone through the healing process myself, the key was that power to heal our wounds is within us all, and we are the you know, the source of our, you know, healing, and that's why I wrote this poem. And actually and then when I started studying different medicine work, the spirit's guidance is that now that you've known how to be bitten by a snake and injured by poison, and learned how to transmute that, you've now become the medicine itself to offer help for others. So
Wow.
thank you.
Nice story. Let's celebrate your work you have put in, Urana. Your first album, Your Heart is Calling, released in July this year. And the second album, Seed of the Stars, releasing soon this month. Tell us about your album, and if you want to share anything else about it.
Yeah. So I often say that I'm not an artist or a singer. You know, I'm from a country where a cappella singing, or just singing outdoor in nature, is just our natural way of being with the environment. And I used to sing a lot as a child, and then there were a long period of time where I actually didn't like my voice at all. Like I couldn't even listen to a voice message recording of my voice, and I just, as soon as it started playing, I would shut it off. And then once I started getting on this healing journey, this song started coming to me as almost as if they were a download or a gift from the divine. And I didn't know what to do about them until I actually met someone who was working with medicine music and is very knowledgeable about technology, you know, and really a musician himself. So And I told Eric when I first met him, like, oh, I have this, a cappella recording of my songs and my iPhone, and I would like to do something about it. And then it was like, we can work on an album together. So he produced both of the albums in a different energy. So can you share your experience with
Well, working with Urana it's been quite fascinating because she's so abundant. It's like there's constantly more music flowing, more songs, and it's always very much in the moment. So some artists will do a rendition of their piece and it's a performance. With Urana, it's totally different. She's channeling. It's an energetic transmission when she's performing. So it's been a real honor and a privilege to capture that and then to translate it into a medium where people can listen to it in their own time. And a lot of the challenge with producing Urana's music has been to actually keep that energetic content and amplify it. So it's actually a lot of work, removing things that kind of get in the way. So a lot of cleaning the audio, and the mixing is very simple. There's not a lot of effects. So it's very raw. And we've recorded like more than 50 songs at this point. We're putting out a second album, which was mostly recorded in one session. It was one day, kind of start to finish. And we really didn't add much at all to those takes. It's basically her with a bowl or maybe two bowls. It's her voice and the bowls. And what I'll do is sometimes I'll take a bowl and I'll add an octave. So I'll take the same recording and I'll double it and I'll turn it down an octave so that there's a little bit more low end, but it's essentially the same bowl. And and it's a transmission. That one is star energy, right? So the first album, Your Heart is Calling, was basically a reminder to live in the heart. And to bring our consciousness into the heart and the healing, what's in the way of living in the heart, the reminder, and so on. So that one had a lot of sounds of nature. So one song would be sitting by the river, one song would be in a cave, one song would be out in the forest with the birds. So this album that's coming out, Seed of the Stars, is pretty much bowl and voice. There's not a whole lot of sound effects, so it's very much that star energy.
Yeah, it's more like intended to be a meditation track, so the whole track can be listened to in one go, and it's deeply, really energetic transmission, really, for healing.
Eric said you've recorded already about 50 songs.
Yeah, and the third and the fourth album we need to work on at some point.
Coming from the poetry you're writing? Converting them into music also?
They just come as like a gift from wherever, trees, water, stars. Lately this Seed of the Stars, all songs are from stars. And sometimes it's just like on the spot download and I'm just singing in we're capturing it as it comes. And some of the older songs that we have recorded, they are Mother Nature. There's a lot of songs, and then also ancestry. There's and my chants are sometimes in Sanskrit chanting, and sometimes it's in Mongolian, sometimes it comes in Japanese, sometimes in English. I never know. So not all of them are poetry, because poetry is really written in English. So the poetry has a little bit more direct messages, right? It's more like a mind in the heart, and then the songs are more vibrational, and then there is a certain elements that are joint.
Talking about Sanskrit chanting, because where we come from, Sanskrit is the roots to our language. Is there a piece that you can play or say or sing?
Yeah, definitely. So I have been practicing Bhakti Yoga, right? It's the devotional heart yoga that involves a lot of sacred chanting in Sanskrit. And when I started chanting this, my body just remembered. I went to one event and there was a Gayatri mantra, and most people can't like catch the phrase, like what's going on here, and I could just immediately chant it out the first time I heard it. And then a friend of mine was like, how do you like catch it up so quickly? And I was like, I think I have been chanting this for a long time in my previous life. Yeah, and I work with it quite a bit. And then really a devotee of my first spirit guide really was the Shiva, the God of oneness in the end, in the beginning. So I usually do my sound healing with and dedication to Shiva, so I can do simple Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Girijaha Shankara Namah Shivaya, Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Girijaha Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah, Shivaya Namah, Shivaya
Nice. It connects. It connects to all our spiritual needs. Urana, you released this book on 12/12/2020.
Yeah.
Does it mean something on a special day, or you have something aligned to these numbers?
Yeah. So usually sacred numbers, sacred geometry, I don't know much about it, but I do have a particular trust in how the divinity, divine works. I use a lot of, divination guidance from astrological influences and sacred geometry. And this book I've been working on for the last 2 years, and publishing a book is a very hard thing to do. And then I really was in the pipeline with the publisher for publishing in 2020. And I wanted to publish it a little earlier in August during the Lions Portal time, but it didn't make it. And then once it was ready to be released around the holidays, originally it was scheduled to be like December 20, and something in me said, no, 12/12/2020, you need to go for it. And then I later realized that 12/12/2020 was also another energetic portal energy that opened up a lot of healing, and particularly to do with past life and ancestral wounds. And because one of my real specialty in the shamanic healing practices has been healing the ancestral wound or a disruption, and then connecting people to their ancestors. And it just felt like a really good day to release it. And then we did have a little toast at 12/12. Had a little lunch event, and then had so it feels really special. And then it's the 12 house, and 12 is this really sacred number. It's the conclusion of a certain cycle, 12-year, different animals of the under Mongolian horoscope. So all of that combines, it's like the conclusion. And this book is my personal journey of how I was separated, and then how I had found my way through different healing, and then really the powerful connecting piece came when I was fully able to connect with my ancestry. And so to celebrate that.
Wow. Talking about separated, there's a line you've written about switched at birth. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's in the author's introduction section. So it is an interesting story. When I was born, there were two babies, both girls, born exactly at the same time, and the hospital made the mistake and switched the babies. So I was taken by another family, right? And then my biological parents took another baby home, and they realized that 2-3 weeks later, and then the story is an interesting one. It has something to do with the complexion. So usually Mongolian people can have two different complexions in general. One more lighter skinned, like me, or some of them has a little bit more darker complexion, like more like Nepalese look. I think we are very common roots, right? And then the lighter skinned babies look very pink when they're a baby, and the darker complexion babies look more red. So the baby that my biological parents took home were a very red baby, and my grandmother on my father's side kept saying like, this isn't our baby because we don't have anyone who's darker complexion, Anyway, long story short, they did find me, brought me back, but I never really could fully connect with my biological mother, because she had breastfed the other baby and really connected. So this created this core wound of separation inside me that I realized later that had created such separation of I don't belong anywhere. And everywhere I was searching, do I belong in this classroom? Do I belong in Mongolia? When I moved to Japan, oh, do I belong here? When I moved to United States, oh, I don't belong here. Always looking at myself as not belonging, somehow an outsider. And then through my healing journey, I really learned that first, your belonging depends on how your perspective is. So just like the dimensional shift that Eric talked about, it is reality, and the possibilities are many, and there are so many different portals. And if I see myself as an outside others, then I will feel like don't belong. But if I see myself as web of different places and belonging in different constellations, I belong everywhere.
So did you connect with the parents who accidentally took you?
Yes, so there was
I'm curious to know
it's very interesting, because my parents, when they found them, they went and had that conversation. I only know the story. I never met my other parents. And the other baby was their first child, so they were like, they weren't really in shock about this situation, so they didn't want to give me up. So literally the story goes that they lived in a Mongolian ger. I don't know how Nepalese households are. You live in an structure made with felt, and it's the transportable thing, and that doesn't have a door and the lock. I mean, it has a door, but nobody really locks it. It's a very nomadic culture. So one afternoon, my biological father, snuck in there and switched the baby and literally ran away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then they deliberately kept away from contacting the other family, just in case that something would happen to the other baby and they want me back. So I don't know anything about them, except that if I were in that family, I would have at least 5 or 6 brothers and sisters.
Wow, it's amazing. It's like a movie. There's a drama we watched. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a Korean drama, which they do get switched at birth. It's a very nice story.
It happens, people. It really happened to me.
So, Eric, when you start writing, write a book on switched at birth. True medicine is love. Lines of the golden thread. I'm sorry, I keep going back to this book because there's a lot of interesting words that have been put together. As a healer and writer, how did this piece evolve?
Yeah, so this is Eric's favorite piece of the book, right? The Real Cure. It's a line from that one. So it's about my healing my relationship with my family of origin, with all the wounding that I've sustained, because Mongolia suffered from a transition from communism or socialism collapsing and moving into a market economy, and everyone literally losing their jobs and status, and then extreme hunger and poverty. And in byproduct of that was there was a lot of alcoholism for people to get away from their pain. And unfortunately, my father, who was a very successful man during the communist era, he had had an alcoholism, and he couldn't fully heal from there. In this essay I have in the book talks about how I tried to heal him in many different ways. And I did not manage to while he was still alive. But after doing all this medicine work, I realized that only true medicine is love. If I just had loved him enough to really be there for him, comfort him when he needed, and that could have made a difference. And that realization came just a little too late. So that's why I really try to do my healing work, devoting to help everyone remember that love is the medicine.
Wow. So it's all here.
Yeah, everything is here.
Amazing. At the time when we need healing and encouragement, as all what's going on in today's world and giving the pandemic, I think both your work that you're putting together, even putting it down in black and white, in music, in spirituality, it makes a big difference, I think, in today's, especially this 2020, this year, which we did not see or dream it would happen, happened.
Yeah.
We never thought the whole world would stop. How many countries on this planet, everybody stopped. And so your work, I think, will help people connect, get together. I hope more people will reach out and listen and at least try to get something. I'm sure I will.
Thank you.
Where can our audience get more information about you?
Yeah, so I have two websites. One for my healing music, healing work, and it's Urana Heart. My healing name is Urana Heart, so it's uranaheart.com. And the other one is for my author's page, where this book can be found, is my very complicated full name, uranbilekbatjargal.com. And there this book can be found, and then a lot of my healing work can be found on Urana Heart. And I'm also teaching in different, in collaboration with different organizations. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram by Urana Heart, so you can look me up there.
Eric, where can we find more information about you?
Yeah, so the music label is Life Music Group. So you go to lifemusic.group rather than .com.
Okay.
And then the executive coaching for leaders is Merkaba Group. So that's MERKABA, Merkaba.group.
Okay. And my next question is, may I ask how both of you connected?
Yeah, well, we connected through the music, actually.
In 5 rhythms.
In 5 rhythms, dancing together. For folks who are not familiar with this, it's called conscious dance. It's basically kind of like going to a yoga class, except you're dancing. and using the body as a vessel for introspection, for exploring connection with others also. Sometimes people are encouraged to dance with each other. So like dance with this person, feel what it's like, and then walk away from them. And feel what that's like to just walk away from someone, things like that. And there's different rhythms, there's a flow to it. So anyway, we often have danced together. And then once we started making the music, I think that became a joint co-creation. And then that's blossoming now with the executive coaching work. Urana now, she's getting certified as a leadership coach.
Yeah, just started.
Yeah, and I've been helping Urana get the healing practice, all the business end of things going. So we've got a long-term partnership that's continuing to blossom.
So first time when I had actually, he was in the 5 rhythm class, right, where he was always bringing, he's an excellent drummer, amazing rhythm. And like I said earlier, like I'm not an artist, I have no idea about rhythms, right, so I'm always off note. And then there was one particular instance, this guy was drumming and his drum beat were so powerful that I had this experience of really connecting with my shamanic, the ancestry who were showing me how to drum. And then I wrote the whole poem about it. That's not in this book. But then later, several months later, when I actually met him in person and realized that he was doing music label, I remembered like, oh wow, this is the person who was drumming, and it really had, it's that initiation experience for me. So it's like a great support and great partner in collaboration to do the music healing work. And then he's also certified executive coach, and he recommended that I did this program. So I'm just starting. It's going to start in January. Yeah. So a lot to learn.
Both of you have shared so much interesting information and values of oneself, how to heal, how to connect, how to love oneself, so you can love others, right? We are almost coming to the end, and as we're about to conclude, what would be your message for our audience?
Well, I think our joint message for the audience is to live in the heart. I think that's the theme for this time. I mean, you probably have another message, but I'll say that one. So our mind tends to put us in separation from each other and from ourselves, rationalizing what's happening around us rather than really experiencing the present moment as it is, where the heart is our portal into oneness, into that mystical oneness. And a lot of times we're trying to solve problems with our minds that we can entirely just transcend by being in our hearts. And that's the practice for the time.
Urana?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so this is, my healing name is Urana Heart. Land gave me this clear signal when I went on my first vision quest, and I have done several vision quests, which is in native traditions of finding your way, marking your completion, beginnings and endings. And they kept showing me that my medicine was something to do with the heart, right? So when I have adopted my healing name, Urana Heart, and while working together, really it is that how to introduce in this modern society way when it's super difficult to be connected to our hearts, how to support that. And we do that through sound, meditation practices, leadership, in my case poetry, and cacao medicines,
plant medicines.
And really our message, my personal message to everyone is, even if we feel disconnected, not belonging, disempowered, a lot of darkness is happening, chaotic, I don't know where to go, what my meaning is. Deepest healing is possible and available and accessible to us. So many supports, and it all really comes from opening our hearts towards all the healing modalities, support that's available. Yeah.
Nice. Urana, Eric, thank you so much for sharing your time with Light and Shadow and stimulating us with your amazing shamanic healing powers. And a perfect way to heal oneself as we wind up for the year end. To all our viewers, we hope you've enjoyed this special program, exclusive designed for Light and Shadow by Urana and Eric, who has kindly agreed to come on our show. Until next time, this is Babita signing off. The entire Light and Shadow team and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode and wishing you all once again happy holidays. Namaste.